I think this is only the second or third time that we've specifically had somebody pose a question and say that this is for a neurotypical child, but I gotta say, I kind of love that people are starting to understand that ABA is not just for individuals who are on the autism spectrum. This works on everybody. So I really love it that you're asking this question. How can we help a 7-year-old neurotypical child learn to not tell other people they're not nice or not their friend when she doesn't get her way? This creates hurt feelings and lost friendships. At the moment, she is upset and cannot control herself. Afterwards, she understands that she hurt other people with her words, and they said thank you for answering. So what do we do? And I would imagine that it's very similar to what we would do with children who are on the spectrum, but it may be quicker, the outcome, I'm guessing, when it's a child who's neurotypical, and I shouldn't assume that.
Well, it's kind of funny because that particular behavior is really common and pretty normal. That's what kids do when they don't get their way, when they're younger. My daughter's 6, similar age.
Yeah.
They just straight up say, I'm not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just that. I remember that when I was that age.
Saying that or having people say that to you? Or both?
I don't know who said it, but I remember going through it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It might have been one person said it to me once, and then I started using it back. It just becomes like a thing you learn from your peers, and you all start doing it.
I think especially among the girl community, everybody gets it very early. I remember girls saying this to each other in Jem's kindergarten class, that they get it very quickly, the girls do, that's a powerful statement. I don't like you and you're not friends with me anymore is very powerful, and it gets results for girls. I don't know that it does with the boys as much, because the boys go, okay, and walk away. But with girls, the feelings are a lot closer to the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can we do?
Well, obviously, the kids need to learn, kind of both sides. The kid that's using that behavior needs to learn, okay, there's other things I can do instead. If this kid doesn't want to play this particular thing, I can go find someone else who does.
Yeah.
Maybe some other coping strategies.
Yeah.
And also different things that they could say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
To be more maybe persuasive or something. Or to negotiate, to say, okay, well, you don't want to do this right now, but how about if I do what you want to do for a little while, then we'll do what I want to do. But the truth is they're so young, and at that age, it's just a lot of times kids just don't really do that type of thing. So...
But I would think, one of the things we talk about on the show is that we rehearse things with our kids who are on the autism spectrum. And I think sometimes it sounds like, well, that's a weird thing. And yet you and I rehearse things. We rehearse what we're going to say. Sometimes if I have to make a really difficult phone call, I'll call a friend and talk it through with them and say, this is what I'm thinking about saying. And that's rehearsal.
Yeah.
And it may, and I will say that to my husband, I have to make this difficult phone call and I have to say this, and I'm not going to want to say this. So I'm going to practice saying it to you, and saying, no, that's not going to work. And we always laugh about it. But then when I'm in the moment, it's not the first time saying it, and it's easier.
Right. Yeah. So having them figure out what they can do in these situations in advance, come up with some ideas. And then unfortunately, to get kids to do stuff, they need consequences.
Yeah.
So providing, you could go on the positive side of things and provide some sort of reinforcer or whatever for handling it correctly.
Yeah. And that's sometimes harder because we don't always know all the times that they've handled it correctly.
I know.
But if you catch them doing something and doing it correctly, make sure that you pour on the praise for those kinds of social things. Would you put a negative consequence?
Honestly, me as a parent, if that was all I could do, because I don't have access to the data, but I get to find out every time the child did something wrong, because, that's usually what we'll find out from teachers is when our children misbehave, then I probably would put something in place,
And because at this point in time, the social losing the friendship isn't as immediate. I would think it would not automatically, later on, it might be that this child will go, I want to stop doing that because I've connected that with I lose the friend over it.
Yeah.
But at this point, it sounds like it's probably too distanced apart and they're too young for them to catch up on that.
Yeah.
Difficult stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I would think with a neurotypical child too, talking through and saying, has anybody ever said this to you?
Yeah.
And how did it make you feel?
That's what I was thinking as well, is
Yeah.
getting them on that side of things. And just saying that would really hurt your feelings if someone said that to you.
Absolutely.